Hey guys, and welcome back to your one room schoolhouse. If you are new here, my name is Mary Barfield and I'm a homeschooling mama to a second grader and a kindergartner. And in today's video, Sage, my husky, will be joining us to give you a long awaited review of American Girls History Kaya unit from Little School of Smiths. So if you are new here, I will give you a quick rundown on what our original plan was for this school year. I originally had bought all of the 8 American Girl units from Little School of Smith. It includes Kaya, and then chronologically from there, it's Felicity. Let's see if I can do this. Felicity, Josephina, Kirsten, oh gosh, Addie, Samantha, Kit, and Molly. And I was gonna do 1 unit per month this year in chronological order in order to do a gentle introduction for my girls to American history. However, we did Kaya's unit and we did it in the prescribed amount of time, which she recommends over a 4-week period. She has a schedule laid out for 4 weeks. And frankly, it was just too much along with all the other curriculum we had going on. If we had just used this as our main curriculum, it would have been absolutely perfect, literature-based, history-based. It would have been wonderful, and it would have been great because I've got 2 little girls who relate very well to all the American girls. However, we were really burned out with doing this alongside all of the other curriculum we had. So we completed this unit and then we paused, and we are going to be doing American Girl History. We're going to pick it up here in the future and finish the units, but it's been a while since we completed this unit. However, I didn't want to leave y'all hanging. I know quite a few of you have requested a review on Kaya's unit, and I am more than excited and happy to do this review because I think American Girl is amazing. It's near and dear to my heart, and my girls have really come alive reading the books. So for those of you who are not familiar with the entire program, I'm going to link a video up here. I did an overview of the American Girl units, what's entailed, etc. I'll go over that a little bit with you in this video, but just if you want a deeper dive into that, go check out that video. But this one's going to be more about what we did, our review, etc. So just to get started, I was going to explain to you kind of how it works. So this is a literature-based curriculum. There's a lot of recommendations for additional books outside of the spines that you need that she provides in the curriculum. However, if you just want to be minimalistic and just do the curriculum, bare minimum, what you will need is you will need the first 3 Kaya books in her series. So you'll need Meet Kaya, which is book 1. You'll need Kaya's Escape, book 2. This was a very harrowing book. It was actually quite exciting. And then Kaya's Hero, which is book 3. Alongside those 3, in order to complete it, you would need Welcome to Kaya's World. All the original 8 historical American Girl dolls have one of these books. As you can see, I'm holding up Felicity's World because I was not able to find Kaya's World for less than $140. These other ones that I found for the other girls, I found anywhere from $5 to $20, so way more reasonable. So I just couldn't spend that kind of money on one book, which these books are great, don't get me wrong, but they've got a lot of pictures in them. Here, let me show you. And it's a lot of information about the time period that the person was growing up in, but I just could not spend $120, $40 on one of those books. So the great thing is the curriculum says if you cannot find that book, what you can do instead as an alternative is you can purchase the other 3 books. So for a total of having 6 books in the series. And so that means I also got Kaya and the Lone Dog, Kaya Shows the Way, and then Changes for Kaya, which my girls were like, we get the entire series? Fantastic, we can read through all of them now. So they didn't hate that idea. And the reason is because in the back of each of these books, every single book that I have, all 6 of them, all that information that's in the big Welcome to Kaya's World book is all just in the back of these books. It's just a little smaller. That's the only thing, and it's not in one place. You have to go through each of the books to get to the back of it. So, but just a tidbit, if you cannot find this, it actually would probably be cheaper to just purchase these guys on thrift books. And I was able to get these for less than $5 on thrift books each. And then when I purchased so much, I got a credit, and so then I got one free. So you can do it pretty cheaply if you do it right. And then also I was fortunate, I found some of the books at my local thrift store for 50 cents. So that helped out a lot too. So included in the unit, she has a weekly guide for 4 weeks. She has additional book recommendations. She also recommends doing a narration notebook. She recommends getting it's a Canson XL watercolor notebook. I decided to go with the Amazon sketchbook. I'll link this down below. It was cheaper and I got a 2-pack and there were 100 sheets in it versus the 30 sheets for the watercolor, and it's the same size as the Canon XL. So the paper is just a little thinner. Reason being is because I plan to put all of the American Girls in one book for each of my daughters, and they can have a single keepsake versus having multiple watercolor books for each person. I just felt like that would be too much to keep track of. And you know what? My daughter, so for her first narration, she did a watercolor of Kaya, and it didn't go through the page. It's sketch paper, so it's not super thick like watercolor paper. So if you're afraid of that, what you could do is you could use watercolor paper, do the watercoloring, and then paste it in here so you can keep it in the keepsake. So I'll show you more about this in a second. But we did that, the narration notebook, and she tells you when to do narrations. She has extended learning options. I mean, there's so much in this guide. She gives you a supply list and she breaks it down by week so you know when you'll need which supplies. They're all very standard things. Frankly, I didn't have to buy anything really, at least for this one. Yeah, I didn't really have to buy anything except for when we made like the cookies. Yeah, I think that's all I had to make. Oh no, the teepee snack, I had to buy stuff. That was actually really fun. My girls really like that. We made teepees out of ice cream cones. I'll show you in a second. On top of the supply list all in one space, she also gave you an additional reading book list here. We pulled a few of them that we had from the library. I tried not to spend any extra money on it by buying any other books, or if I found them at the thrift store, I absolutely snagged them. But for the most part, I was able to get a couple of these at least from the library or one similar. Like for week 2, we learned about Appaloosa horses, which are very much a part of the Nez Perce tribes culture. They didn't have the exact book, so what we did was we found a kid's book though on Appaloosas and learned about them. So we didn't have to do exactly what she said, and we were able to make it work. And then what I really like is that if you have a boy, a son that is tagging along, since it's American Girl, you know, they might be like, well, there's no boys. She does provide read aloud suggestions for boys so that they feel a little bit more included as well, which I think is great. So you can do it with the whole family. On top of that, she provides links to videos. There was a ton of activities, and then there was also even map work, which I'll show you in the narration notebook. Again, I think my kid's favorite thing that we did was we made these teepee snacks. It's just frosting, chocolate, pretzels, and ice cream cones. But the kids loved it, right? We also, oh my gosh, my girls love this too. We did the deer hoof game. So all it is, you tie a string to a pencil and have a mason jar lid, and then you try and swing the lid onto the pencil. The girls still have theirs, I think, up in their desks in their rooms, and it's been months since we did this unit. That's how good it was. We also did an Appaloosa horse labeling in our narration notebook. Oh, we also we wove baskets. So we did basket weaving, and she gives you a template. Those are gone. I don't know what happened to them. We actually used them for a very long time to like put jewelry in on our nightstands and stuff, but something happened to those. I think they got thrown out. But they love doing that. And then on top of that, we learned about the life cycle of a salmon. And so we cut that out and put it in our narration notebook because salmon was one of the main food staples of the Nez Perce tribe, because again, that's part of who Kaya's tribe was. So then we did salmon one night for dinner. I mean, there was so much. And then we also learned a ton about Lewis and Clark that last week. And part of that is she gives you a link to a where you can print out a game. It's a game, and there's cards that go with it, and it kind of takes you along the Lewis and Clark trek. I think it was a little too old for my youngest daughter, who is in kindergarten, but my oldest daughter really enjoyed it. And honestly, I'm going to keep it, and we're going to go back and use this when we revisit Lewis and Clark when the girls are a little older, because I thought it was really well done. It's called Westward Bound, and again, that link is in the unit. So as you can see, there was tons of reading, good literature, there was narration, there was activities, there was crafts. We learned a little bit about science from salmon life cycle and the horses. We learned all about the Lewis and Clark expedition, but it's done in such a way that you can take or leave what you want. You can do the bare minimum in here, and you don't even have to do any of the activities. You could just do the readings in the narration notebook and watch the videos and call it a day. Or if you're like us and you like to do those activities, which I think really brought it to life for my girls, you can do all the activities and make it more Waldorf-y, you know? So I will say we gave this. I asked the girls, I was like, did you love this? They were devastated when I said we had to pause American Girl. So as you can tell, the answer was absolutely resounding yes. They loved American Girl. And I think it's because, especially because I have two girls, they relate to Kaya because she is a young girl close to their age, living in a different time and era. And it just allows them to put themselves in her shoes and really understand what was happening versus if I was reading from a textbook about the Nez Perce, I just don't think it would connect as well. So I think this is a really great way to introduce American history to young kids, specifically girls. But again, she's got those read alouds in there for boys if you've got sons. And then real quick, I was going to share with you what we did for our narration notebook. This is my oldest daughter's notebook because my youngest daughter kind of hit or miss whether she did them. So I bought this little line tool that allows me to draw lines on paper. She did a narration, and then she did a portrait of Kaya. On the back of that, it was the Pacific Northwest where the Nez Perce were. So she put in where mountains were. We drew in the Salmon River, Snake River. There were so many different things that we did with that. Then they did a whole thing on how to draw Appaloosa horses, but she did a cartoon one. And then on the back of that is where we actually did we did that cutout for the Appaloosa, and we were able to put the labels of what parts were what. And then here is the salmon life cycle. So we learned all about that. I mean, there was just so much that went into this. And I just thought it was so well done. Oh, and then here's the Lewis and Clark expedition. She did a portrait of Sacagawea. And then she wrote a narration. So it said, Sacagawea gave birth to a boy in winter and almost died twice. One time she got sick and the other time she almost drowned. Don't you love that's what she took out of all the reading of Lewis and Clark? But she got it right. She got the info right. So, I mean, it was just a really good 4 weeks. Again, the only thing that I would say is if you are trying to do this alongside other curriculum, either spread it out much more, like don't take 4 weeks, take 12 weeks, take 8 weeks, double it at least, double the time that you need to do it, 8 weeks. Because I think if you can do that, you can really take your time with it. You can breathe a little bit because for the first 3 weeks, at least, you are reading one of these books. And these are not short. I mean, a chapter is pretty long. Each book is about, and it's a lot of reading aloud for you as a parent. So what I would say is definitely double up the time if you're doing other curriculum. If you're not, you can use this as your curriculum. This could be a main curriculum in my opinion, especially for elementary school. I think this would be totally sufficient. And then you could then add on science, if you wanted to. And then like a true language arts, of course, because it just has narration included in it. But yeah, so there's 4 to 5 chapters in each of these books, and you have to read that over the entire week. On top of that, you're referencing the World book or the back of these books. But just give yourself time. Don't rush it. I wish I hadn't tried to rush it like we did, because then I think we could have extended it and still done it this year. But it's fine because I've got a new plan, which you guys will find out in my next videos when I'm talking about my curriculum picks, how we're going to handle American Girl, because I've got a new plan now and I'm so excited for it. And I can't wait to share it with you. But I would absolutely 100% recommend this curriculum to anyone. We have absolutely loved it, so much so that we've gotten additional units that we're going to eventually do here with my new schedule that I'm going to be releasing soon. And I just think the world, 1, of American Girl, but 2, of Little School of Smiths. I think she's done something really good here, and I think it's a one-of-a-kind curriculum, and I would absolutely recommend it to anybody with young girls or young girls with a tag-along boy for certain. And then also if you've got only boys, which she's actually created a new curriculum for boys for American history. So you should definitely go check out her website. I'll link everything down below for that, as well as the notebook and the sketchbook and everything. But if you have any questions about this curriculum, please leave it down in the comments. I'd be happy to answer any of your questions. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to my channel, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye, y'all.